Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for DOGWIFHAT. I'm going to be going over a couple things here. But if you ended up getting into the trade, you've been following my videos, we got in literally right there at that pivot. But as of right now, if we continue and end up hitting log targets, I want to discuss what we would expect. So first of all, off the low, we had a 1-2 and a second 1-2. So I'm out on a 4-hour chart, and what we would expect in a third of a third is the most volume in this entire trend. So we need to see volume increase to make sure the probability is on our side that this is a third wave, right? We're looking for indications. Are we on the right path? So we want to see volume pick up. The daily looks really good. Came back to the 40 for our wave 2. Second 1-2, we basically double topped, no divergence. And we came back between 40-50. We just want to see this continue on and volume pick up. We really want to see volume increase. Now, I discussed in a previous video that are we on log scale or linear, right? Because third of the third would get us between 224 and 304 on log scale. And on linear scale would only get us between 74 and 81 cents. So what I do when I see those scenarios is I say, okay, so if this is the wave 3 and we're on log scale, we should get there. This is a guideline, but between 1 and 1.618 in time of this wave 1 off the 2. So depending where we are, say we're only at like 80, that's 74 to 81 cents, but we're in our time zone, then we might be on linear. Like this. Sorry, right here. Right? If we come to our time zone and we're only right there, and we have a nice wave count for 5 waves up in the third, we'd say, okay, looks like we're on linear. But if we don't have a clean 5-wave move up, and we're like over here, we can see we have a little more room to run, right? So that's just little indications I use to make sure I'm on the right scale. Those are guidelines, obviously. It can get stretched out in time, but that's why we have our volume indicator. Should have the most volume in this wave. We have our RSI to make sure there isn't some crazy divergence, and we have our time fib to kind of get us on the right path. Now, one other thing I would consider looking at is, okay, if we reached, let's say we reached that $3 mark for the third of the third, what would the market cap be? So right now we're ranked 157. There's a billion of them, so it would take us to 3 billion. Is 3 billion market cap reasonable? Is that a reasonable outcome, right? So let me go back here. And 3 billion would take us to about 40th. But then you have to consider everything's probably trending right now because BTC's moving. Everything's trending, so it'd probably take us more likely into like the 80th on CoinMarketCap, which went from 154 to 180, or sorry, 154 to 80 seems very reasonable to me. So I do think it's possible that we reach that $3 mark, but we'll have to make sure everything lines up. Again, time, volume, RSI, wave count, etc. Okay, so let's go down to the micro, and the counts changed a little bit. So this is how I had it labeled yesterday. This is just from the video. It made sense at the time until today we kind of took off a little more than expected for this wave count. So obviously the direction's correct, but I just want to show you the adjustments made overnight. Go to down to the 15-minute. Sorry, I know this chart's a little bit messy. So down in this area, I was thinking to myself, okay, we have a 5-wave move very deep too, right? But it wasn't making sense in this area over here because we didn't get a very deep retracement here. So I had this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have a 3, this would be our 4th and our 5th, but it's taking off pretty significantly compared to this wave here, and the size of the correction doesn't make sense compared to this wave too. So we have to say, okay, is there something else going on? So I look left, and I say this is 5 waves. So is that finishing something or starting something, right? Is that the low there, or do we have something else? And what I argue is this is probably a expanded flat, and this was our 3rd wave, this was our 5th wave in the diagonal. So I think the low is actually over here, based on what happened overnight. Now, if we just came up here and came back, I'd say, okay, then this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But we're getting more and more bullish, so I think the low is actually here. Oh, I think the low is actually here. Get rid of that. That was for my stop. And what makes the most sense to me here is that we have a diagonal, and we broke to the upside on the diagonal. So I think this is our 3, 3, 3, and we had a very short 1, 2. I'm sure you've seen these before in crypto if you pay attention, and that's where the wedge breaks to the upside rather to the downside, which is a very bullish signal, which is nice. And what else was nice here is we were getting divergence, which we expect in a diagonal on the way up. We're getting bearish divergence and hidden bullish divergence on the way up. So right here. So that's my count currently. So looking for this to literally be another 1, 2. So we're going to have some pretty nested 1, 2s. 1, 2, and then we go for our 3rd of the 3rd of this wave count, which we are at currently, I think the 618. Let me put these on the top. Yep. So pulled the pivots from this wave 1 and 2. Might have to raise that by 1 pivot. No, it's on the correct pivots. Okay, so expecting this, you can see we have 1, 1, 2, looks like 3, 4, 5, expecting a correction here for another 1, 2. And then we go up for our 3rd. We're at the 618 extension, that's where I look, usually at the 618, and then we come up to the between the 1.236 and 382 for our 3rd of this 3rd. Put that on. Sorry, I know it's a little bit messy. Our 4th comes up here. So basically looking for this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'll be our 3rd wave, up around 56 cents, unless we just keep going from here, get more nested 1, 2s, we shall see, and then get our 5th up at around the 200 to the 2.382 at around 62 to 67 cents. So that's what I'm looking for currently based on the wave count overnight. Obviously this would be a little bit faster. And then that would create our 1, 2, and off we go. But we can get more bullish than that. like I said, like the timeline of everything, but that's just my guidelines right now at the moment. And if you choose to, if you're in this trade and you read it similar to me, as this is a 1-2 as a diagonal, that would mean invalidation of this specific count is at this wave 2. So if you got down here like I did, you can move your stop up to that area and lock up that much profit, which should be pretty good. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at, guys. It looks good. We want to see this keep going and going and going. Invalidation is that, with that current count, is that wave 2 there. But yeah, I would just like to see this come down, go, 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 come back, go, off we go. All right, guys, that's it for DOGWIFHAT. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.